Hi guys, I'm back again. I'm going to get the copyright disclaimer out of the way. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. My opinions are just opinions and are not to be considered factual until proven by law enforcement. Today's title is going to be Summer Wells, The Neighbor, Two Stones, One Bird. The person that I'm going to be discussing is going to be referred to as this person, because I'm really sick of saying the person's name, to be honest. This commentary sort of rides off the back of my earlier theories. In those, I mostly spoke of both Don and Candace Wells. I gave examples of what might have occurred hypothetically on June 15th, 2021, and in regards to Candace. I gave two examples of how and why she might have wanted Summer gone. I gave two examples of how it could have been done without ever laying hands on Summer, which would have been easier for both parties, Summer and Candace, as well as avoidance of leaving physical evidence thereof. It was very hard for me to imagine what I spoke of, but I did. In this series, it'll be hard as well. I will speak of several more theories, some of which many of us have already mentioned. Some will be new, or at least new to me, as I've not heard anyone else go in the direction of which I will take in one hypothetical theory. Today, I want to talk about a certain person and certain things that she has said in her many live videos that has given me great concern, both from her early videos that can still be found via Facebook, the ones that people gathered before she removed them from public viewing, and later on her YouTube channel, and those that she removed from that channel as well. Some of what I will be speaking on will have come straight from this person's own mouth, and some will be hypothetical or opinions and so on. In each segment, I will refer to whether it came directly from her or if it's hypothetical or an opinion. Some of this I will have already discussed in earlier commentaries, but I want to lead off with repeating some of it while also mentioning newer information for those who are just joining the true crime community or have not had the chance to listen to all the long videos that this person does on a daily basis. So please bear with me while I do that. First, I must remind you that from the very early months following Summer Wells' disappearance, this person was repeatedly warned that she would be placed under a microscope just for the words that she states. And she had many people imploring her to stop, as she would, kept saying things that made her look suspicious. And many were showing the inconsistencies at that point. And there was great worry that if she was innocent of any wrongdoing, that by putting the horse before the cart, as she puts it, was making herself appear suspect. I myself, in several commentaries, tried to warn her to be careful in what she was saying. She is suspicious of all who enter her chat, yet continues to speak. She apparently believes that those who tell her to continue to talk have her best interest at heart, or she is using them as much as they are her. They do not have her best interest at heart, for if they did, they would be asking her to stop. But to give her chat the benefit of doubt, they fear doing so, as those who do wish her well or give her advice of any kind get beat up verbally by both this person as well as her chat. Many are following to watch the train wreck happen. Others hope for a tidbit of information not already given, as she continues to state that she has more information and will speak on it when she's ready. And if anyone at this point believes anything coming forth at this point in time to be factual, well, I honestly don't know what to tell you. It has been shown that the only times that this person has told anything that she has not already spoken of when she first was interviewed on YouTube by Squall Tit, who now goes by Squirrel Teats. And by the way, for you newcomers, Squall Tit is a bird. I'll let Squall tell you the other story. But anyway, it was back in September of 2021 was when something big happened, such as Candace making her YouTube channel, Jose being interviewed, and so on. Before that, she told you via her Facebook page in live videos. So everything was already out. She didn't give you much information after that, and what she did give you was very suspect. Some you can still view, others you cannot. Does she think that people have not kept track of those things? But at any rate, despite many of us showing and proving her many inconsistencies, she still has a select few followers who have been in her chat since before March of this year, and they still butter up to her while refusing to visit and learn from other channels. And when they do visit other channels, it's only to pick fights on behalf of this person who makes those followers look ever so bad, and they often embarrass themselves while doing so. Excuse me while I take a drink of water. And it gives the entire chat a bad reputation. And oftentimes, more often than not, if they leave a nasty comment on someone's channel, they later delete the comments that they make, which shows that they do not have the data in which to back up any claim that was made, or the guts needed to keep the comments visible for all to see. For those who do worry for this person, they stopped asking how she feels today, how she needs to take a break, how she needs to back off, because they watched and they learned what happens if someone does. So they can only get her attention by kissing up to her while she continues to make herself look terribly bad in the public eye. She did not listen to those who had her best interests at heart. She refused to step away from the limelight, and in fact, she has become ever more emboldened with daily multiple videos, hours in length, often preaching the same mantra, multiple videos every day, and the mantra that she spews, the wording is the same. It's every 5 minutes to her audience, as she now calls her chat and her followers, while telling everyone that she is not a YouTube creator or an entertainer, but is being paid and refers to her content as material. That, dear people, is a YouTube creator, plain and simple. As said many times, her choice of words, such as manipulation, terrorization, monsters, referring to many people as its, great harm to herself and children, and so on, were all used when she spoke only of her children's father and his family in the beginning, before Summer disappeared. She has now removed their names and replaced them with YouTubers and creators on YouTube. She bullies by giving them nicknames, and her few followers who now behave much like her clap their hands in glee. I will also remind you that she said that she was going to burn Beach Creek down and later burn YouTube down, and she has actively tried to do so. She spends hours trashing all YouTube creators while threatening to take them to court for speaking out about her actions on YouTube, but she does not realize that she herself, that by grouping all YouTubers into a lump sum of thieves, criminals with long criminal histories who are purposely screwing up missing children's cases for profit, clicks, likes, and views, she exposes herself to a massive lawsuit, one that can be brought forth in a class action suit against her for doing so. I can assure you that I have never caused or done any of the sort that she accuses YouTube creators of, and I find it extremely offensive that a suspect in a missing child's case willfully throws out statements such as she does. My life is devoted to locating exploited children and reporting to the proper authorities. I spend countless hours online doing just that. You too can do the same, as can this person that I speak of, if she wishes to be of help instead of repeating herself daily on her YouTube channel. She could actually do something of value, but I digress. Don lost his voice back in February of this year when he entered jail. Much of what he spoke of before that point in time was all information which later was revealed to be misinformation and was given to him via this person that we're discussing. She herself told you that she gave him information which was not correct and that he would immediately run to tell it to everyone on YouTube. Why would someone do that to a father of a missing child, you ask? I have no answer for that. I have thoughts and opinions and can give hypothetical ideas as to why, but no, I am unable to put myself in the shoes of someone who would intentionally give misinformation to the father of a missing child, nor can I, for the life of me, understand why one would not correct the poor man once learned that he was giving out the wrong information. Did she do it because she disliked the YouTube creator that Don was speaking to at the time? Maybe later in time, but in the beginning, those first days of Summer going missing, neither Don nor this person knew those YouTube creators, so I don't believe that to be the case. Later, possibly, as later she did have issues with many creators, and now she has issues with nearly all creators. Was she throwing Don off, hoping to make him look stupid and guilty in the eyes of law enforcement? Did the abduction theory begin with this person in the first place? The creepy dude on the property, did that also come from her, hoping to get the blame placed on Andy, her partner of 26 years, whom she claims abused her so terribly for all those years, and whom she has learned after Summer disappeared was about to leave her for another woman? The man she claims she was sold to when she was just 11 years old, and he a child himself? So in February of this year, Dawn went to jail, and this person became very bold with her statements concerning both Dawn and Candace. Several videos were removed from public view by this person where she was drunk, one after having drank 2 pints of booze on camera within an hour and a half. And she came right out and accused Dawn of killing Summer in that video, among other horrific things. Candace began speaking up more, first going on a channel just prior to Dawn going to jail, and she spoke of wanting to move, buying a repoed house for $10,000 and leaving Dawn, taking the boys with her. This person really flipped a switch that night. Shortly after, Dawn entered jail, and Benny Keys and Candace became much closer as she had already been very active in his chats just prior to Dawn going to jail. And Don had sort of stepped away from the camera as much as he could at that point in time. Candace and Benny became even more active, communicating a lot, doing live videos together and so on. And after Don went to jail and this person really began to sling mud at all three, Dawn, Candace, and Benny, almost nonstop. She forgot all about her abuse, her health, her child's health, and could only speak on Candace and Benny. Then Candace made her own YouTube channel, and as I've mentioned before, this person lost the entire top of her head that night and several nights after. Each time Candace spoke on any channel, this person would rage on her own about whatever Candace had said, whether it pertained to this person or not. And most often than not, it had nothing to do with this person, but still, this person raged. You have to ask yourself why. Why was it so important to this person for Candace to not have a voice? I mean, at first, this person complained that Dawn controlled Candace and she never got to speak during interviews, and suddenly she wanted Candace to shut her mouth and keep it shut. Roundabout threats were made, some clearly made, and Candace heard them. In fact, often this person was speaking directly to Candace in some of the lives that she made. I have mentioned several in my earlier commentaries. I find it interesting that once Dawn went to jail, this person had so much to say, knowing that he could not speak out in his defense. She expected Dawn to never get out of jail, that he would go from jail in Hawkins County straight to Utah and serve time there. But several months have passed, and Utah case does not seem to be picking up any speed, so it is possible that Dawn will return home in just a few more months. How interesting it will be once he comes out and he is able to catch up on all that she has said and done, both in Summer's case and against Dawn, Candace, and the Wells boys. I'm sure he's not going to take too kindly to what this person has come out and accused the Wells boys of having done to their sister. Accusations with no proof, I might add. This person, the one who does not want anyone speaking about her own children, has had much to say about the Wells boys, and I'm sure the only reason she did that was because they are minors and unable to speak up and defend themselves, and because she thought Dawn would never get out, and she knew Candace wouldn't say anything. It has been said that Candace is afraid of this person. Candace did tell us who she was afraid of in Beach Creek, but from what I hear, it is because of this person. So you have to ask, has Candace left the hill due to this person? She has stopped going online, which is the smartest thing she could have done for herself, truth be told, and has stayed out of the area. Some speculate that she's in rehab. Others say it's that she's just staying with friends. The fact that she had to leave her own home is what concerns me, but then again, I don't blame her. One person already went missing from that hill, didn't they? Don told us that he asked CPS to take his boys because they were not safe there, and I believe that he did say that to CPS. I am sure he had suspicions as to who in the area might have caused Summer to disappear, as he was certain that she did not walk off the hill and wander away. It bothers me the things that this person has said about the Wells boys and what she said they said and did during the time that the Wells family was looking for Summer on June 15th, 2021. I am sure that if the boys are able to know what she has said and done concerning them, that they have been terribly terrorized by this person and will be for years to come due to the accusations she has made against those children. I am sure that it will not sit well with Don either once he learns of what she has had to say about his sons. I am sure that this person has Hawkins County inmate set to notify her as soon as he is released. So now we're going to hypothetically discuss a person who has said that she did not want neighbors and was ticked off about out-of-staters moving into the area and angry about greedy heirs who did not want to maintain property left to them by their elders and wished to sell instead. We have learned about a company stationed out of Texas who's been buying up parcels in the area, and that, several have already been sold in the Ben Hill area alone. This person is angry about it. This person has a criminal past for drugs, and it's been said by locals that she allegedly continued that lifestyle throughout the years. I'm unable to attest to that. However, it has also been said that her partner of many years had done so also, allegedly. And again, I cannot attest to that other than to say that the person herself has maintained that he did, which lends belief that she was active as well. It has also been said that the tattoo the person sports is strategically done to cover track marks. Again, I cannot attest to that. At any rate, if these things are true, one would certainly not want neighbors moving in around them who would notice the traffic coming and going and report the activity thereof. So let's say this person made several explosive live videos and posted them to her Facebook page, where she raged about people coming and going to look at this land, a little over 2 acres that butted up next to the land, excuse me, that her partner's family owned and which land she at the time resided on. She raged about how she did not want neighbors, couldn't stand kids, and went into detail as to what she would do if a kid stepped a toe onto her property that was not hers, how a child would fall off a cliff, that someone was going to get hurt, go missing, or even die. So let's say that this same person also made a video speaking ever so casually that because of past radiation treatment, that if she became pregnant and the child was malformed, she would smother the child with a pillow, and she aired that live to her Facebook page and laughed. Let's say the same person said that she sat at the bottom of the driveway of the hill that she lived on at the time, and that she sat there for days, even weeks, because she wanted to run off any would-be buyers interested in the land that was for sale next to her. This person who told everyone how sick she was and how she had to be helped just to move about and could not handle temperature changes, but could sit in the summer heat in the month of June all day long to make sure that realtors and people did not access her property or the property for sale next to the land that she sat at the bottom of, and to also keep an eye on the tree trimming crew that was working in the area at the time. And she was so angry about them and had been complaining for weeks about making noise and disturbing her peace and cutting wood that she didn't want cut. And she also complained about the neighbors nearby and their kids, that they were loud, bratty, and noisy. This person told us that she sat at the bottom of the hill that she was living on, right up until Summer went missing. Summer went missing on June 15, 2021. It strikes me odd that she does not mention sitting at the bottom of that driveway on June 15, 2021. The tree trimming crew was still there in the area. In fact, they were working on the Wells property near the road. She tells you that on June 14, 2021, she gets into a confrontation with the man who bought the land next to the property that she was living on at the time. She tells you that he was trespassing because he had no access in which to drive his car to his property, and she had done a land survey of her own and determined that he was trespassing and called the cops. She states that she was working on behalf of her children's father and his family, and even though she was so sick that she had to be helped to walk, she managed to walk all of the property and lay out property lines and maintain them. Later, we learned that the children's father disputes her claim and states that she had taken it upon herself to do those things and made things much worse than they needed to be. I tend to believe this, as this person had made many live videos in which she posted to her Facebook page, showing her anger, talking junk about the realtor company, the man who bought the land, the neighbors across the road, who we learned later turned out to be the missing child's parents, and she wanted their land too. And while she spoke, she made it clear that she did all the work, that she was not going to have any neighbors, and it was all talk, all her talk. She went on and on and on, right? Day after day after day about it. Clearly, she did what she did that day on June 14th, 2021, because she wanted to, not because she was asked to. And those videos prove it. She states that she was able to prove that she did not make the phone call, the police call. I'm sorry, let me start that again. She states that she was able to prove that she did make the police call on the man who bought the land in the video that she made and had him removed from his own land, due to the fact that he no longer had a place to park his car, even though there was a section of driveway that was not used in order to access this person's shed that she was living in. And had this man parked where he had parked, he would in no way prevent this person from accessing the part of the driveway that she actually did use. But it is not true that she is the one who called the police. She's not the one that called the police to report the man who bought the neighboring land for trespassing. We now know this as there are several videos out there that she made where she tells who did make those calls, and that it was her children's father and his mother. She never called the police. However, she wants you to believe that because in another video she had made, this person states that she's the one who heard a scream that day. The child went missing, and was also the one who called the police. She thought that she had everyone fooled, right, by saying that she was actually calling the police on the man that bought the land, right? Until those other videos came out, which clearly states that she's not the one that called the police on the man who bought the neighboring land, which means she was actually saying that she called the police to report the missing child. Yet she still tells you the lies, guys, even with the proof. She forgot that there are many videos out there that have been screen recorded and turned into law enforcement showing that she stated she called 911, not the police, but 911 to report the missing child while she was actively searching for said child. No mention of the neighbor or his land was made during any of those videos either. So I speak of all that in order to remind you before I go further, so that you might be able to wipe the slate clean of any preconceived notions you might hold on the parents of Summer Wells, and look at this case with fresh eyes, as I've been asking you to do all along for months now. This is not to say that I believe that the parents to be innocent, nor am I trying to convey that they are in this commentary, as I will say that for another commentary. This will be, as I said, a series that concerns a person who is considered a suspect in a missing child's case, and since I have spoken of possible hypothetical theories on the mother of the missing child, much has since been learned concerning this person, who is also a suspect and has made herself appear to be almost desperate in her efforts to implicate herself as she inserts herself into every minute aspect of the case. As it has since been shown that the majority of the information given to both parents or about both parents came from this person, who seemed to know everything about everything and everyone, both before the child went missing in the early months, and we only had bits and pieces, and we used what this person said and did, and by using that person's information, we made judgments on the parents of the missing child. We compared the parents to this person in many ways, only to later learn that this person lived in much the same way as the parents she spoke so harshly against. We have learned since many things, and we woke from our trance. We sat spellbound for hours and hours, months after months, waiting for tidbits that never came, and in the process, the trance broke once she began to talk too much, and all the inconsistencies began to come to surface like a bubbling brew. She told us and continues to tell us how much danger she is in, yet no receipts in which to prove that other than one person who she played games with for months. She has stated that if anyone spoke to her ex-partner, she would be killed by him. He has been spoken to many times by several people and nothing's happened to her. Nobody lurks about her home. No photos of her and her children that she states have been taken have ever shown up online. She has said and acted as if something was going to happen to her or is happening, but she's online and nothing is happening. She has done this sort of thing every time someone comes into the area. All of a sudden, every car that drives down the road is suspicious, and she makes facial expressions and she behaves all these certain ways, to lend drama, but nothing happens. She has done this sort of thing every single time. She has threatened people more than anyone has ever threatened her. She has accused people of things that they have not done. She has threatened to unalive herself, and I'm honestly surprised that her family has yet to go before a magistrate to have her put under a 72-hour hold for her own well-being and others. She spoke of unaliving herself before this little girl went missing, and went so far as to live stream the conversations while stating that everywhere she goes, she carries a chemical concoction that can take her out of this world if she is out and the need arises, and stated that she feels something coming. All of this before that beautiful child went missing, and before she ever communicated with anyone on YouTube. That alone should have given her family grave concern, and that alone should tell everyone that something is terribly wrong. People do not just speak this way. People searching for attention do. People who have mental illness do. She claims to be bullied now, but she has bullied people nonstop for the past 9 months. I have spoken on that in several earlier commentaries. But after the little girl went missing, we saw this person ordering fast food, and while speaking to the fast food employee, she makes sure to tell this employee that she is the neighbor and involved with the search for the missing child and has to hurry up and get back in order to do several interviews, all of which are waiting on her to return. So she went from doing lives where she was saying, oh, we need to get this child's name out and information out and make her human, which bothered me because the child was and forever will be more than just a name. She went from that to, oh, look at me, I am important, I have all the things. Don't listen to anyone else, not even the parents, for only I hold all the information. And people did start looking at this person. Some began looking right away. Her actions alone raised giant red flags for some people. Others, well, it took a bit longer, and that's okay. It's hard to look at a person that way, especially in the beginning when she wore a mask, presenting herself in a different manner than who we eventually learned her to be. A person can only keep up a false pretense for so long. It was hard to imagine things about this person that she might be capable of until she began to show us by what she said and did. And that alone told us who she is. She did it. Nobody did it to her. She live streamed herself while doing it. and continues to do so. Presently, she is going on about an upcoming vigil for the child and has asked that people disrupt it, claims that she and her family is in danger because of it, again, yet she continues to sit and talk hateful things about the people who will be coming to town in order to attend the vigil to honor the missing child. If she truly was afraid, she would be quiet for the time being, but she will go on for the next few days, repeating herself over and over, as she has done for the past 11 months. June 15th will mark 1 year. She hasn't missed a beat, you guys. Not one day taken off. Not one day. Not even the day her brother died. Not the day he was buried either. I honestly believe that if any harm ever comes to her, it will be at her own hand, I'm sad to say. I hope she will get the help that she needs, but people such as herself think that they can psychoanalyze themselves rather than seek treatment. She has hundreds of people speaking out that she needs help, that she is dangerous to others and to herself. How do you help someone who refuses to see that they are doing what they are doing to themselves? Judgments were okay when everyone was speaking on the missing child's parents. We were directed to think that way because normally it is a parent or parents if harm has come to a missing child. But we were also directed to think that way by this person. We then had the parents' drunken episodes, and that made things worse. However, we've watched this person drunk and whatever too, but excused it. Especially in the beginning, in most cases, you don't have much to see when in which to learn about people's personalities, behaviors, and actions in most missing persons cases, unlike this one. As time passed, much came to light concerning both the parents of the missing child, but we learned much, much more about this person, as early on she made sure that we would get to know her. She was not just talking on her own live videos on Facebook, but was also going into discussion groups for Summerwells, and not only that, but she posted to Ronnie Lawson, the sheriff of Hockin County's Facebook page, which brought a ton of attention to herself and her name and location. Yet she accuses YouTube and her pseudo-mother-in-law of doxing her. This person said she needed to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. Why? Why would she need to do so, if innocent? How many other people in missing children's cases have had to do that? None. None is the answer to that question. Why, you ask? Because none of those neighbors or friends of the family continued to insert themselves, other than maybe giving a brief, short comment in the beginning of a case, and then they would never be heard from again. But not this person. She wanted all eyes on her. And after she got what she wanted, she flipped it and cried about the attention while still using the attention in order to make money. That is why. After contacting Ronnie Lawson on Facebook, the number of people who were following her grew phenomenally. She jumped from Facebook to YouTube, did the circuits on as many panels as she could, one after another, several per night, and her followers on Facebook increased like crazy. She now tells you how YouTube creators manipulate people for money. Well, she took her lessons well, if you ask me. She learned that if you cry, money comes flying in like rain from the heavens. She pointed it out to you guys, what other creators were doing. And what did she start doing right after she pointed it out? She started crying. She started manipulating. She started projecting. She started gaslighting to the fullest extent possible. Everything that she accuses all other creators of doing, she herself does to the members of her chat for hours on a daily basis. She speaks for hours and hours, the same things, over and over, like a form of brainwashing. Why? None of those people can help her out of the situation that she has placed herself in. Is it an effort to dirty a jury pool, perhaps? The same mantra over and over and over again. If you sit and listen to that for hours upon hours, days after days, it is the same thing as is done in far right-wing political groups and far left-wing groups on Facebook and other platforms. If all that is pumped into your brain is that kind of rhetoric, you will not have realized it, but you will have been systematically programmed into believing what has been said. The only way to stop the thinking that has been instilled into your head is to remove yourself for a length of time. Stop listening. Don't believe me? All right, just do an experiment, guys. Just make a check mark on a piece of paper. Pick any live she's done, especially a recent one, and make a mark each time she says the words in this category, not these exact words, but you know what I'm talking about. Lies, danger, abusers, manipulation, cons, victims, terrorize, terrorizing, terrorization, her and her children, and blah, blah, blah. And note how many minutes pass before she repeats it to you again, and how many minutes before she says the same thing again, and how many minutes passes before she says the same thing again, and then tally up at the end of the live. I bet you'll be surprised at what you learn. And this is often 7 or more hours of it, several times a day, over and over and over. And if you think she doesn't listen to what I write and speak to you about, and then uses it for her content, I can prove to you that she does, because I've watched her, and I've watched her say the same exact thing right afterwards. You know, she won't give you a click, but she'll sure watch that closed caption, won't she, guys? She won't put a closed caption on her page because, you know, her speech makes it so that, you know, it comes out all screwed up. No, she's got to have that click, y'all. She doesn't fool me. Me, I could care less about the click. Go ahead and read me on closed caption. I don't care. So anyway, she's well versed on psychological issues and terminology. In fact, if you look up the definition of the word gaslight, thank you, lip lock no more, you will notice the word jello is listed in the description. How many times has she said the word jello? Throwing jello against the wall to see what sticks. She reads, remembers, and then manipulates you all with it. Take a break from her for a while and listen to the other side. Listen to other creators. Doesn't matter who, just pick some. Long enough to get past your preconceived notions, for you will, at first, only experience anger when listening because your mind wants you to believe what is listened to for so very long, and it will rebel. But force yourself to stay away. I am really concerned for the people in her chat, listening to this day after day, month after month, and not only listening, but picking fights with other people for her, threatening harm to others for her, threatening to dox people. I mean, willing to go to jail. Some of these members have really changed in their behaviors too. And if you don't believe that, go back to early March. Note the names. Note the names that's in her chat. And sometimes they change their names, guys, but they're not that slick about that either. Note the names and how and what they say back in March, how they behaved. And then check how they act has changed over the course of time. Stay away long enough to allow other thoughts, opinions, etc. to enter long enough for your mind to start thinking for itself once again. Anyone is susceptible to that kind of thing. It does not mean that you're weak, that you're a weak person, but it does mean that you wanted to trust and believe that source that was feeding the information to you. Give yourself time and explore other options, theories, and learn. Learn what has been put out that is indeed factual information, and question everything. Whether or not this person is innocent or guilty makes no difference in what I am conveying to you. It is what you are being spoon-fed on a daily basis. That's what's the concern. She stayed on other channels just long enough to learn how to run a channel, control a chat, make mods, and most of all, make money. And she hopped away to make her own channel, all while crying about the attention that she receives. All right, well, she doesn't like attention. Why is she on her channel? It doesn't make any sense, you guys. She refers to her monsters, calls them its. I have literally watched members of her chat become emboldened after months of listening to her. These people are now truly putting other people's lives in danger. People who are truly working to find Summer. These people who do nothing, no research, no hours spent looking into records, nothing. They're just sitting there behind their screens watching this woman for hours. She does nothing but sit there and look at herself on a screen and babble nonsense and repeat herself over and over and over. None of them are doing any actual research. Yet she's telling you nobody does anything for Summer. You better wake up, y'all. Makes me wonder how much fight's happening in your own home. How angry are you when you get off from listening to her? Because it sure made me angry when I used to listen to her all the time. And I couldn't figure out why I was angry all the time. Stop listening to her. Stop being angry. Just saying. So, her partner also told you that she tends to make people angry and push their buttons and make them lose control. So, there's that. So anyway, like I said, these people are now truly putting other people's lives in danger, people who are truly working to find Summer. These people who do nothing, no research, no hours spent looking into records, nothing, just sitting there behind their screens, running their mouths and helping to create the chaos they claim to be against. Epitome example would be threatening people who attend Summer's vigil, stating that they will blare music to drown out what others might be streaming so that those who cannot attend might also they can't take part in it. There's a lot of people who can't travel, who are disabled, who don't have the money, who would love to be a part of honoring that child and can't go. And some idiots are talking about going out there and ruining it. How do you find that respectful? How do you even... it blows my mind. I mean, it's the most childish shit I've ever heard in my life. It seriously is. Oh my goodness. So why? Why does she not want anyone to attend? Because they might meet a local. Because they might make money off of it, is what she says. But she's making money right now off of it. She's talking about it nonstop, and it hasn't even happened yet. And that money thing is out there. She will be making money now off of it until June 15th. And then on June 15th, she may or may not, I don't know. I'm sure she could go a day. But for weeks after, that PayPal Cash App of hers, oh yeah, it'll be out front and center where it is every single day of the week. While she sits there and talks trash about every video that she sees of that vigil. Mark my words. How hypocritical of her, and how nasty of her to want to ruin a vigil for a missing child. She has dog whistled people to dox others, to call CPS on others, and yet she tells her chat those creators that do that kind of thing are wrong. But I have screenshots and recordings of her and her chat who speak that way. And if you think I haven't turned that in, you're wrong. If you think certain agencies are not interested in what is happening with all that is going on in the background of Summer's case, you're so very wrong. You absolutely are. Remember, we were told early on that this is much bigger than we think, and it is, and it continues to grow tentacles. So take care with what you're willing to do for someone that you do not know, someone who is considered a suspect, unless you are willing to spend time behind bars for them. I am positive that they are very interested in what's going on with Facebook, PayPal, Cash Apps, and the like, and the scamming that is being done within. Be careful with personal communication with this person, as she has proven that she has no problem using it when she's no longer happy with you. I would take care even sending Cash Apps and the like, to be honest. The $800 Facebook fiasco seems very odd in my opinion, and most would call that a scam. Google it. Google what happens when you return money on a Cash App. Just Google it, guys. Right now, on her live, as I speak, she is telling her chat that she would rather live next to Don and Candace for the rest of her life, even knowing what she knows about them, rather than any of the YouTube creators. This person has told you that she believes Don SA'd his daughter and killed her. Yet she tells you that they are better people than any YouTube creator. I find that offensive. I've never abused a child nor killed anyone. I've never been involved with a missing child's case other than Summer Wells. And this is my very first channel ever concerning a missing child. And this person has absolutely no idea what in the hell she's talking about. How is what she is doing now, talking about YouTubers, and has said for months and months, any different than what is being said about her? Ask yourself that. There is a common denominator in the problems of Summer Wells' case, and the common denominator is this person, and has been since the very first day. She is distracting everyone with her words, crimes, victims, terrorizing, and so on. If you've had any issues with any of your Cash Apps, Facebook, Venmo, PayPal, make sure to report. Report any suspicious activity. Any accidentally sent money, even by someone you do not know. It is done for many reasons, and don't you think otherwise, as there are no accidents. Trust that. What she doesn't, and what people don't realize, is sometimes there's bait out there. I'll just leave that right there. There is some nefarious things going on, people. Chat members of hers, whereas they once were so polite, now sound like vicious guard dogs ready to put their own lives and families at risk for a person that they do not know. Because they have sat for numerous hours every day and night listening to the same rhetoric. They listen to a person who law enforcement has stated is still considered a suspect in a case of a missing child's case. A person who was at the scene when the child apparently went missing. This person is not in the same category as someone who lived several roads away from 110 Ben Hill Road, or someone like myself who has spent hours upon hours looking at records of various kinds, paying attention to what is being said and done and by whom, countless hours of recording, transcribing, and there's no comparison. She and I are not alike. I don't sit on my rear repeating the same thing with a burning need to destroy YouTube. And that, dear people, is what it is all about for this person. Nothing more. Nothing to help locate Summer. Just a burning desire to destroy YouTube. But you know, she wants to keep her channel and make money on her channel, doing the same drama that she accuses others of. Remember, this person was on the road when the child's mother went looking for her daughter. This person said that she was already searching for said child before the mother even knew she was missing. How could this person know that the child was missing or search dogs would be needed if she had just walked down from her own hill? How could she know anything, as she never went up the opposing hill to speak with Summer's mother or grandmother? Let's not forget searching for a body in a creek filled with needles, and later stating that the search dog stopped at her feet, the same person who had her own dogs with her, knowing that they would be a problem since the search dog was a strange dog to the area and her dogs would not take kindly to that fact. And is why it pissed off the handler, who could not do his job due to this person and her dogs. This person who has changed the manner of her searching for the child so many times that one entire notebook is filled just with examples of all of the inconsistencies thereof. This same person who, it has been said, has stood in the hot temperatures of the month of June for 4 days at the command center in order to stay current on all that was going on and being said by law enforcement. This same very ill person who said that she personally attended all searches in the area of Beach Creek for weeks and months. This same person who later told the father incorrect information concerning those areas searched by the dog. And that's just a few things to consider. I'll go into more detail later on in regards to all of that, as there is much, much more that makes this one person stand out more than all others in that area, including the child's parents. So this person tells her chats that these monsters of hers, well, they learn and adapt and change, and that is exactly what she did, from her appearance, her behaviors, to making money, to not making money on Summer, to making, to making money on Summer, to being ever so concerned with anything concerning money, the reward, who might receive it, and so on. This person who spends hours online drinking fluids nonstop, smoking nonstop, and never eating, who scours YouTube constantly for her name in order to have content to speak of on her channel and in order to make money. This person who tells you that people drive by screaming. She did that tonight. She actually said that people were had just driven by her house. She doesn't live in a house. She lives in a camper. That this person, these people, drove by her camper, screaming and doing stupid shit, as she puts it, but you never heard a thing, even though the walls of the camper are so thin that you can hear the crickets as if they're in your own home. This person went from being a person much like what everyone imagines the Wells to be like, to being the PTA mom, to someone who has experienced everything that there is to experience in life, to a barroom badass, and so on. Sometimes it is as if you're watching a young person just going into their teens, and then she will quickly change into batshit crazy to fuck around and find out, then back to dumb, needing help, pitiful female type to threatening behavior. It really is something to watch. I'm seriously waiting for her to tell us that she has multiple personality disorder or schizoaffective disorder due to all of the extremes that she has experienced in her life and her extreme mood behaviors that we witness oftentimes within seconds. In fact, I was surprised that someone mentioned the same thing in a chat the other day concerning this person and how they thought this person had multiple personality disorder. Others think bipolar. Both can run hand in hand, so does schizoaffective disorder. But that has been also said about her by others, locals, which is interesting since she has said that to other people in that area who have spoken out about this person, who personally knows this person, she accuses them both of having, schizo. They're schizophrenic. And she has no qualms in putting their medical information out there for the whole world to know. She won't talk about her own in any great detail. Isn't that odd? That she would do that sort of thing while being so upset about what people say about her. This same person who gave us all our inside knowledge of the people who lived across the hill, and we all formed early opinions on those people and spoke freely concerning them with no proof other than what this person had to say about them and the fact that Candace didn't know where her kid was for a little bit. This same person who now wants everyone to think that she is being bullied because people now look at her with suspicion as well. She keeps bringing up the LGBTQ community now, like, that's going to bring help of all of that community to aid her. No, some I'm sure are aware of the things that she said about Jose Roman. In fact, look at that poor man. She still accuses him of having taken his own life when it's been said by his family that he had not. She uses that poor man and stands on his back to insist that he was killed by YouTubers to further her agenda. This person has absolutely no boundaries and will do whatever it takes to destroy anyone she feels has slighted her, and even those that haven't. This person lacks empathy, compassion, and all that makes a person human, in my opinion. All those Facebook and YouTube live videos, well, when she blunders, slips up, she can't correct it. It's out there. She either has to leave it be, knowing that the odds are that there's someone out there screen recording it anyhow, or she deletes it afterwards, depending upon how bad it was. It's not like how I do it, where I tape and then upload, so if there's a major malfunction on my end, I can send it to the video to the trash can and start over. She can't. She now wants to go back to Facebook. More money, she says. But remember, it was never about money, right? She says that she will have more control in that she can keep people from commenting and only allow certain people the ability to comment. Oh, but she will still keep and use her YouTube channel because, money. More money. No, it's not about her riding on Summer's back at all, you guys. Not at all. She's going to cut off her camera when the vigil gets closer because she feels that she's in danger. Hasn't she been saying this all for months? Yet that's never stopped her. Many people have come to that area before several times and she's never freaked out. Why is she so freaked out now? Maybe it is, that she's tired of people noticing what she's doing while she's on camera. Because some of us do know. Do I actually care if she removes her camera? No, I could care less. But I can bet all that I own that she will spend the next 10 days telling you how much danger she's in, how photos are being snapped, but never seen, how people are following her everywhere, and that she and her children are being terrorized. It's funny how you never hear from Green Eyes, isn't it? Radio silent. Interesting. Very odd that she plays cat and mouse with those that she claims terrorize and threaten her and her family. One could almost believe that she gets off on it. If Green Eyes is legit and she does not know who that person is, then she was straight up getting off on it. Terrorized people do not engage. Period. If she knows who that person is, and it was all a setup for the benefit of bringing her attention, then that in itself is sick. As this is supposed to be about Summer Wells, but she has made every effort to make it all about her while blaming YouTubers for having lost Summer in the shuffle. This is the Summer Wells case. This is not her case. She is spoken about because of her actions and nothing more. If not for her actions, nobody would even know who she is, and her 15 minutes of fame concerning the scream aired on TV would have been long forgotten. Maybe the very real reason she does not want to leave her camper is because she has doxed so many people in her own area, because she has said so many personal things about people in her own area, things that did not need to be said, very personal things. All was done out of meanness. Before I close part 1 out, I want to speak on this bullying issue she keeps tossing out, hoping that it sticks, but instead it slides down the wall like jello. She has no problems trashing both Don and Candace Wells without proof, delving all into their lives and so on. In fact, there's one creator now who's recently leaned a little bit towards her direction with the bully bullshit. Needs to remember and review his own videos of the things that he has said and done concerning Candace, but seems to have forgotten. It is what it is, you guys. Some have short-term memory, and that memory seems to change whichever way the wind is blowing at the time, apparently. I respect someone speaking out about bullying when they haven't actually done it themselves. And if they are making a huge personality change, then I expect to never again see anything that can even be misconstrued as such. Which means one should never have an opinion that tends to speak negatively in any manner concerning anyone, and definitely never do it more than once, else it could be considered bullying. So think about that, and think about how that will affect your channel in the near future and the money that it brings in each month. So I will end this part 1 and upload and tape part 2 for you, which I hope to have uploaded by late tomorrow. In part 2, you will hear the theories that I speculate and I can't even say the word now, concerning a neighbor who seems to have had a huge invested interest in the case of Summer Wells and surrounding land. You know, it's all about those triangles, squares, and rectangles that she mentioned so often. Land parcels, to be exact. I will discuss wiping the slate clean, removing the so-called timeline created by this person. For if you remove the timeline, what do you have? Excuse me. As I've said so many times, the timeline appears to be more of a timeline in which she hopes clears her, and she has stated so. But does it? She doesn't mention the scream. She does not contact Andy to tell him that she is searching for Summer. She does not tell him about seeing a flash of red, nor hearing a car/truck door slam on the opposite side of the box that she was in, but now tells you that the sound came from the other direction. I guess she forgot or thought us too lazy to find those earlier vids, as she calls them, in which to prove that inconsistency to what was previously said by her. If any of that had happened that day, she would have mentioned it strictly because of all the drama that had gone on the previous day concerning the man who bought the land next door, that she had ran off from his own land and searched all over town that night to be sure that he had left town. But she wasn't sure that he actually had gone the following day on June 15th, 2021. She should have still been on high alert, her PTSD and all of that hypervigilant state that she stays in. So why did she not mention all of those things to Andy that day when he kept asking her if she was okay, if everything was okay? Why wasn't she guarding the bottom of her heel all day that day, like she had been doing for weeks prior, except expecting the man to return or some other person coming to see if the land was still for sale? Why was June 15, 2021, the day that she suddenly decided to stop sitting at the bottom of her heel? Benny Keys has said that this person has locked herself in, and she has, in more ways than one. Her need to get that cart before the horse really tripped her up. And still, she does her best to control everything concerning Summer Wells. And so with that, I'll close part 1 and speak with you guys soon. Bye for now. Stay safe.